Up first, a villain playing the victim. The audacity of my soon-to-be ex-wife. Some background. She had a pretty typical affair. Guy from work went from emotional affair to physical affair. In her words, they fell in love and are soulmates. She confessed to me one weekend and told me she was moving out of our condo. I was blindsided, tried to get to talk about it, but she was firm. She didn't love me anymore. It hurt, but I accepted it. I'm not going to beg someone to stay with me. This all happened 6 months. Over those 6 months, we separate our lives. Joint accounts or credit cards, typical stuff. I file first, which for some reason pissed her off. She gets a lawyer to draw up how we'll divide things to make this painless. Over this time, we don't see each other at all and only communicate via text or email. I have a daughter from a previous relationship, and my soon-to-be ex always had a close relationship with her, and she wanted to stay in my daughter's life, which I was fine with. I'm not going to deprive my kid of that because I'm upset. The soon-to-be ex missed a few visits with my daughter, and it really hurt her. My soon-to-be ex apologized, claimed that she became really busy, but I stopped the visits until she could actually keep her promises. That caused some issues, but eventually it was dropped. So over those 6 months, I was just working, hanging with my daughter, but I fell into a funk. Really didn't go out other than to the gym or with my daughter. This Friday, my younger sister and her fiance dragged me out, said I can't be a hermit anymore, and started enjoying my life. We went out with her friends, and I ended up hooking up with one of them. She confessed that she's had a crush on me for years, but the timing wasn't ever right. We ended up hanging out all day Saturday too. Easily was the best weekend I've had in forever. Not just the sex, but this weight was lifted off of me. I felt like a person again. This morning, I wake up to dozens of voicemails and texts from the soon-to-be ex raging at me, calling me a hypocrite, even accusing me of having been with hooking up my sister's friend during our marriage. How could I do this? Pure insanity on her part. I called my sister and gave her the rundown, and she checks my soon-to-be ex's social media, and she's playing the victim, saying crap like, "When your friend catches your husband out with another woman while he's trying to save his marriage." Completely playing the victim. After that, I did respond to one of her texts and just said, "Were you trying to save our marriage when you were sucking your coworker's dick on lunch?" Probably not smart on my part, but F her, seriously. She's responding again with more "I'm the victim" crap, and I'm not engaging anymore. But seriously, she's lost her mind, right? She can't be this stupid. Let's see if the community agrees or disagrees. The Big Pickle wants to say, she can't be this stupid? Yes. Yes, she can. She Got the Ganai 13 says, it's not stupidity, it's controlling the narrative. She's using it as cover to muddy the truth because it serves to make others question if she's really the villain or not. This is why, when there's infidelity, it is important to let everyone know right away. A deleted user says, this is BS. She left home 6 months ago. She started the divorce. Do not your colleagues in social circle know this? You must have posted it even on social media. If you give her control, she will do what she wants. The OP replies, I really don't do social media other than browsing Reddit, but at her work everyone knew they didn't try and hide it. I told all my friends and family, and she has no control at all. I really don't care what she does or wants. It's not my concern. But I won't lie, this outburst from her caught me off guard. Life Yogurt Closet 98 thinks, she's stringing you, and since you can't anymore, she's putting you on blast so when her relationship is fully exposed, she's not the a-hole. It's a tactic so cheaters can have a clean slate, and also why she was mad that you filed for divorce first. Edit. Also, if you report her and her affair partner to her job's HR, one of them, if not both, will lose their job. She can't fake her way out of that one. Yes, OP. She's absolutely losing her mind. She's only behaving this way because she thinks it'll take the pressure and attention away from her, leaving you for some other guy. She used this as a way to try to throw you under the bus, so people would look at you as the one at fault and not her as the cheater. This is just something that narcissists and cheaters do. She also probably can't stand to see you move on. I'm sure she got a high off of seeing you unhappy and beaten up about everything. What do you think? Up next, a birthday girl who took our next OP for granted. When does it get easier? Hi guys. Life has been extremely difficult in the past few days. I was with my now ex for a few years, and life was great. We had our ups and downs, as anyone does, but as a whole, the relationship made me feel like the best version of myself. I genuinely thought that this was the one, and we would have gone down the whole marriage and kids pathway. For the last 4 years, we've been working like crazy to save up for the deposit to buy our first home, and we had actually got there, and we're exchanging contracts next week. Life was great, and we couldn't wait to move into our first home together. About 2 months ago, my now ex went on holiday with her best friend for 3 days, which was great, but it was lovely seeing her having a nice trip. She got back, everything was normal, and we carried on preparing for the move, buying more stuff, and just genuinely getting ready. It was her birthday last week, and before we moved in, I saved up to take her away for her birthday as a present. It was brilliant, and we got home last Friday, and I had to nip over to my parents' house quickly for 20 minutes. Within that 20 minutes, she decided to tell me over text that she cheated on me twice within that holiday that she went on with her friend. I was trying to find out why, so I was asking her, why? Why only tell me now? Why carry on without telling me? But she's blocked my number and all of my socials, so I'll never even know. Not that it would probably even help, but I just wanted some idea to potentially try and close off them thoughts and the whys. I genuinely feel broken inside. At first I just felt anger, and as time is going on, I'm just feeling like a shell. The sadness is unreal. I genuinely don't care anymore about anything, and I can't even work because I can't even focus. I went to her place to drop off some clothes I had on Saturday, and she unblocked me to purely say that if I go around without any consent again, she'll get the police involved. I feel so lost, hurt, confused, and genuinely beyond sad. I'm a strong person, but sometimes it just feels like I'm not strong enough to keep up with all my emotions. Oh, OP, I'm sorry this happened to you. It definitely sounds like you were way more invested than she was. If she didn't want the life that you were imagining, she should have told you and been honest with you rather than cheating on you and this friend trip. And even worse, she totally used you for a birthday vacation, and probably way more than that too. I'm sorry, OP. What a punch to the guts. I can understand how broken you're feeling. To have someone blindside you like that is horrendous and extremely hurtful. You had been planning this future together, and suddenly it's just ripped from under you. Update. Hey Reddit, it's been a while and a lot has happened. 175 days to be exact, and some people wanted an update. Here's the update for those that want to know or care to read. At the time of my last post, I was mainly angry, understandably. There has been no contact from my ex at all. Both ways, nothing at all from her, and I've not reached out at all either. Through reflection, I've understood that she was extremely narcissistic and I was sadly being emotionally abused. While it shouldn't be, as a man, I felt it quite embarrassing for myself. How did I not realize? How was I so stupid? But ultimately, it's not on me. There's bad and good in this world, and I know that I'm a good person and nothing I have ever done meant I should have deserved this. Her friend messaged me actually. I think she was drunk, saying that my ex actually cheated on me 3 times instead of the 2. It was full-on sex and not just kissing. Not that it makes it any worse, etc. At the time, I think I got through the pain, and it was a lot of pain, through my work and going to the gym. Sadly, a month after this news, I was made redundant too. I'm still in this role, leaving at the end of the month. During this time, I crashed hard, and I felt lows that I've never felt before. Full-on depression. I developed anxiety and my mental health was truly in the mud. I often had thoughts where I considered that I couldn't cope and I wasn't strong enough to continue to deal with my struggles. It was and is terrifying to feel unable to feel safe and comfortable in my own mind. However, I reached out for help. I rang my local doctors and got prescribed medication to help with the anxiety, and it has seriously helped. However, the deep sadness wouldn't shift. I know that I'm extremely lucky to have this, but through my work, I can have 6 free of charge counseling sessions. Last month, I felt extremely low again, more than usual, and I decided to seek this help that was on offer. I've had 2 of these sessions so far, and while they're extremely hard, I'm proud that I've actually reached out. I'm not a guilty person. I've just been a victim, and I realized it's time to focus on me. It's time to heal. It's time to move forward. And it's time to live and work towards the happiness and success that I have yet to see in this world. It's a work in progress, but I'm getting there. I'm starting to understand, and I'm starting to regain everything that I have lost mentally. I've also started a TikTok account that has some calming videos to help anyone, suffering or not, to have a moment's minute of peace. We deserve it. I'm not begging for followers. I genuinely don't care about that at all. But if you feel like it might help, then it's mindfulminds_1. Everyone here on this page, you're strong, you can heal, and you can find the love and happiness that each and every one of us deserves. Love yourself. Let's check into the community for a quick comment from Taiwan Bandit. I'm not a guilty person, I've just been a victim and I realized it's time to focus on me. Between this post and last, this might be your best statement. She was the lowest of the low, just using you up, not caring how it hurt you. Glad you got out before marriage and kids. You're on the plus side now. Continue to work on yourself. pour yourself into your job, start new hobbies, join a sports team, find old friends left behind, engage your mind in things that bring you happiness. Thanks for the update. Take care of you, OP. It's so nice that you're taking care of yourself and getting the help you deserve. There's such a bright future ahead of you, OP. Thank you so much for opening up and being vulnerable to us. It's not an easy thing to try to look at your life, reach inside, and talk to someone about things. It's hard. I'm sorry your ex made you feel like less of a man. That's not the case at all. Wishing you all the best, OP. Do you have a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. Next, hindsight is always easier than foresight. Was there any red flags at the beginning of your relationship that you ignored or excused? There's a saying that someone shows you who they truly are within a week of knowing them. Were there any red flags for you that you ignored in the beginning but were clear signs or indicators of a cheater? This was true for me. He picked me up for a date the first day, and he bent his neck backward to check out a girl walking in the parking lot, staring for longer than 5 seconds. I ignored it since we weren't dating yet. He followed many pickup artists on Instagram. I also remember going into a boutique and he literally said out loud, "Dang, she's cute," about the store associate. He denied ever saying that though. A few days later, he brought me to a toy store and bought me a huge stuffed animal. The store associate came up to him and said, "Didn't you bring another girl here last week?" The guy told me I deserved better and that I was too pretty for him. He of course denied it and accused the store associate of just being jealous and hitting on me. I was only 18 at the time, so I was really naive to all the signs. I also had a strong intuition, gut feeling that this guy was no good. I actually ignored him after the first week of knowing him, but he persisted and I became his girlfriend. Ignoring all the red flags led to an 8-year relationship full of lies, pain, backstabbing, and gaslighting. He was a serial cheater and frequently approached girls, asked for their numbers, and had sex with them. He told me he saw me as the main chick, and everyone else was his side chicks. He was also very emotionally and mentally manipulative, and I'm still building my self-esteem. I'm a different person now. I don't ignore red flags, and when they come up, I don't beg a guy to change for me or to try to understand. I just move on. I guess I'm now at the reflection stage. I'm looking at the past from a different perspective. I forgive myself for excusing all the red flags, and I'm grateful for the strong woman it has made me today. The community has a couple comments. Apprehensive Cost 496 starts us off. The one I missed was related to my ex's fiance. They were engaged but broke up because he was abusive. Fast forward 1 year and I go to a wedding that was her high school friend that had quite a few people, including the ex-fiance. The vast majority of those folks gave my ex the look and wouldn't talk to her. The ex-fiance eventually came up to me, introduced himself kindly and said, "Nice to meet you." I personally had no anger toward the guy, but it kind of broke my impression of what I thought he would be. Fast forward to now, post-divorce. I learned my ex cheated on him. No wonder she got the look. They probably knew I was the next schmuck in line. One Midnight 21 chimes in. For me, one of the biggest red flags was my ex-wife saying she cheated twice in the past, but outgrew it. There were a whole other whirlwind of red flags related to what I found out was her personality disorder years later. But now I have that as one of my absolute no boundaries. If I talk to a person and they even have a hint that they cheated or were an affair partner at some point, it's an instant goodbye. The only possible excuse acceptable being they were physically forced to cheat at threat of bodily harm or death, which then would be just SA and not even cheating really. JTVTR says, "I'm not in my reflective stage yet as I'm still very angry about the whole situation, but there were times that I get reminded of red flags of my ex that I ignored. First one was when we were talking about loyalty and one of the things he said was, 'As long as he still goes home to the same woman, it's fine.' It didn't feel good hearing that from him, but that time we were still dating for a few weeks. I was too young and naive to think that maybe in a few years his views would change. And it didn't. There had been so many red flags, most of them subtle, but the biggest and most obvious one was that he lies about many things, even the smallest things about himself. For example, like for months, he didn't inform his parents that he got a new job and made them think he still works in the same company. His new job and company were both great. Nothing to be embarrassed about, really. I found it really odd. Like, why? There were also times when he would easily throw me under the bus to save himself in situations where he knew he'd get in trouble. He always thinks about himself. At first, maybe you wouldn't connect these bad behaviors to that of a serial cheater, but the clues were all there. Being dishonest and selfish are just some of the most common traits of cheaters. I still kick myself for letting this person share 10 years of my life for nothing. but I guess it's better that I got myself out of that relationship than waste another 10 years of my life with that person. I think if someone is on a date with you, their attention should be on you. If their attention is focused on others, I think that proves that they aren't actually interested in you or a relationship. What are your thoughts on red flags in the first few weeks? Up next, a pathological liar masquerades as a hardworking single father. The dark side of deception, how a single dad's lies shook my faith in humanity. Been seeing a guy for 6 months, single dad of a teen with autism. He always said he couldn't leave his son alone, so he didn't have much time to spend with me. I was fine with it because he had a good excuse and it was casual between us. Usually I don't stand for that. He said he homeschooled his son and was always with him. I truly admired that. After being together twice, I told him I would like to spend a little more time with him besides just the sex, and we decided because he couldn't do that to call it off amicably. A month later, I matched with him again on Tinder, and he said he would put in more time with me. We see each other again, and after the last time, he sends me a text that his wife moved back into his house and wants to try raising their son together. I told him if there's a chance they could work it out, to take it because of his son. I've met his son before, and he seemed so sweet. Anyway, I thought that was it. Last night at 1 a.m., I get a call from his wife, telling me, with him on speaker, that they were never separated or divorced, and that he'd been lying to me and other women and sleeping with them too. She said he was addicted to porn and sex. Now mind you, this guy is an expert liar. He speaks so sincerely that I truly felt for him for being a single dad of a son with special needs. I was happy there was still good people out there. We had a lot in common, and he just seemed like a good guy. Now I didn't have feelings for him, and he always told me his son didn't really spend time with his mom. I wondered why a mom would abandon her son, especially with his situation, but ultimately decided that it wasn't my place to judge. Turns out that she was always there. She quit her job when she found out her son had autism. She homeschooled him. She created the lesson plans. She did it all. I felt and still feel sick to my stomach. Not because I had feelings for this guy, but that my idea of who he was shattered and replaced by a monster. And I didn't have a clue because of my BS blinders were on because of his son. The fact that he used his autistic son to lie and to get sex and present himself as a stellar dad and his wife to be a lowlife truly has made me ill, physically and mentally. I am distraught. I can't reconcile my belief in humanity with something this evil and wrong, and I can't deal with the disparity between what I want to believe people are and what they really are. I just can't. I don't know how much longer I can stay strong and deal with this type of behavior. I just don't. I don't want to be on an earth with people like this, and I just don't know how to deal with it. I went through 11 years of emotional abuse during my marriage, and it was worse than any physical abuse for me because I am all emotion and passion. The way people act has a massive impact on me whether I try to let it affect me or not. And this really got to me because he attacked my core belief and yearning for people to be good. He crushed and destroyed it and replaced it with fear, distrust, and uncertainty. Because in my opinion, a pathological liar is capable of anything, and I fell for it. I trusted this guy and invited him to my home. It makes me want to throw up. He was in my safe space. I just can't. I feel violated and defeated. Anyway, thanks for reading and letting me get this out. Let's see what the community has in way of reaction. WookieeMan222 says, like there are cheaters and then there's this piece of crap. Euphoric Statement 95 says, geez, what the hell? But welcome to life. There are crap people everywhere. King Hafrican 702 says, wow, this was low. He lied on his son to cheat. I've seen it happen before, but reading this doesn't make it any easier. Sorry you went through this. That's awful. The Cat Sass 2014 says, as a father of an autistic boy, this is vile and shameless. Don't feel too bad. Sociopaths are hard to spot. J&H daughter has an elaborate thought. Okay, firstly, take a huge and cleansing deep breath. Let it all out till there is no more air in your lungs. Do that about 2 more times and hear me. Sweet soul, you are spiraling. You're making this more than what it needs to be. Yes, he is a sick individual that I hope and pray his wife leaves him and takes him for everything she can. As for you, why are you letting someone change who you are? Look, you don't have to feel the way you do. You just have to change your routine and get the hell off Tinder. Sweetie, Tinder isn't for love. It's for cheating people and single people who don't want commitment. Just because you picked wrong twice just means you need to take time and reflect and change your way of screening who you want to be with. Look, Honestly, the first one, it was because you didn't know your worth or know what love is. This one, he was a freaking clown who used his disabled child. Of course, anyone would let their guard down. Please get off Tinder. Go to something like Match or sites that aren't more hookup-ish. Also, once you break it off with someone and you see them on a site, just swipe left. Don't return to anyone. No offs and ons. If it didn't work, it didn't work. The world is a very effed place, but dwelling on it and making it change who you are and letting it make you feel like you don't want to be here is not a way to live. In life, there are some things we can control, and there are things we can't, and making things we can't bigger than what it is, or letting it bother us more than it needs to, doesn't make life better. Living with fear and doubt doesn't have to be your life. No one makes you do that, but yourself. The world is 80 to 90% effed up in any given day, and people are a-holes, but you don't have to keep them around you or in your life. He's trash, but your life doesn't have to be. I think although it's hard to have experiences like this, and yes, there are lessons that we inevitably learn from it, it's just as important to not put all of our eggs in one basket. Moreover, I think there's some valid points in the comments. It's important that we don't let other people dictate how we feel about ourselves. Do you have any advice for OP? Share it in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We'd hate for you to miss them. If you want to listen to more stories from me, check out our lounge where I feature a larger variety of non-cheating related stories. See you there.